Hi, Yoram here. I'm going to show you this time how I'm using my own setup of OBS over Zoom and with Stream Deck. I shot a few videos talking about that in general, and then I shot a video of showing you step by step how to set your first scene in OBS. This time what I'm going to do is share with you what I do and the setup that I actually use live when I deliver webinars or even just participate in meetings. I'm going to split this into two parts. The first part is this video, and this is going to take you through the OBS part of it, what I have said in OBS. I'm going to rely on you seeing the previous videos so you know how to do some of the things that I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you what's in there. In the second video, I'm going to show you my Stream Deck setup that enables me to do everything that I do. Just to kind of give you a sense, what you see on the right side is what I have in front of me on Stream Deck. I have the ability to change the second screen. I have three screens in front of me. This is how I choose between them. I have different scenes that I can go between pretty smoothly. Let me go back to the this scene that I had before. I have the ability to change the logo that I'm going to use between different logos, and it happens on the different scenes individually and separately. I have the ability to add my website. I have the ability to remove or add the live little icon that I have up there. And finally, I even have a recording button over here. But as I said, I'm not going to talk about Stream Deck in this video. In this video, I want to take you through my OBS setting to deliver webinars over Zoom. Stick with me. As you could see, I have eight main scenes. But what I'm going to do is actually show you some of the scenes that you don't see here, that you don't see on Stream Deck, that I really don't select with. I use multi-layers of scenes, so I have scenes within scenes, and I'm going to show you what I have. So the first one is the camera background. The camera background scene has multiple different possibilities. I have my formula for trust. I have a virtual office. I have just a background that looks like wood. I have a video that I created. Actually, it's not activated. Some of them are I don't use most of the time. I have my F-18 cockpit looking back. I have my home dining room. I have and I have a few others, as you can tell. So I put all the scenes as sources, and you can see that those sources are images. A couple of them are videos, but as I said, I'm not using them now. Can use them. And actually, this one I do use the technology background. So this is one that I downloaded. I purchased this video so I can use it commercially, and it does add some to my background. So this is the camera background. I have the display window scene, and this is where which display I'm going to be using. So I have my integrated scene. This is, if I went back up to selection of scenes, you can see that I have my integrated scene. This is what I refer to as number one. This is my laptop screen. I have my top three. I call it number three. It's the top screen. It's a Dell external screen. And then I have number two is what I call the left. I called it one, but it's really actually two. I'm not going to change the name, even though it's not a big deal. Even if I change the name here, Stream Deck will know that the name has changed. I have created a scene just for closed captioning, and really all I have here is just the screen where closed captioning window is going to be. I have created one additional scene here, and in this scene I have dual green lined. I have two boxes, and underneath that I have that technology window. It allows me to actually put videos underneath the green screen, and now you can see the green screen is really just black and open. I have the logo scene. Those are the different logos that I use. And as you can tell, I've placed them all in this corner. So between my SMU, I'll have to shut one down so you'll see all of them. I have my SMU logo when I teach. I have the Book of Trust. I have a logo video. So I actually created a video of the logo with light shining through it. I sometimes like using that. I have the Book of Trust. It's kind of semi-transparent. I have my high trust, high performance logo. And finally, I have the one that I use for these videos, the DIY logo. Next, I have screen capture. So where do I capture different screens? I actually don't use that anymore. And I started creating something that will be a shadow scene. I'm not going to show you for a very simple reason. All it has is the camera. I'm not going to show you or go into the details of this simply because it takes a lot of processing power, even for my computer, which is a gaming computer, pretty powerful computer. So I ended up not using it. So I'm not going to go into that. So after you saw the different scenes that I have that allow me to do a lot of things and bring the same thing to multiple scenes, multiple main scenes, this is my main scene. What you can see in my main scene from the back, from the bottom, we have the camera background scene. So if you remember, this is the scene where I changed the backgrounds. I never turned this on and off. I just changed the backgrounds directly in the background scene. I have, let me go here on Stream Deck so you will see what they look like in general. These are the buttons that I designed for them. So above that, I have a Sony camcorder, which I don't use, but I keep it here just in case I do. I have the shadow scene that I really don't need. As I said, it takes too much processing power. I have my D3500. That's the DSLR that I use. This is my main camera. If I go to the background, camera background, let's take a further look at do I have any filters? I don't have any filters on this. Shadow scene I'm going to skip, but on camera I do have filters that are set on top of it. Specifically, I have the chroma key filter. These are my settings for chroma key. I've let it just define it as green, but I could actually eliminate that and choose the exact green that I'm using. But choosing green as the default green works pretty well. I have used color correction, but there is enough color correction into the chroma key that I don't need to use a second filter just for that purpose. Closed captioning, if I need closed captioning, will be right here. I have my live button. This is the button that you see on the top left side. And really all it has, I don't believe that I have any filters. I don't have any filters. It's just this image. This is it. I have my Yeti microphone. And for my Yeti microphone, I do have a few filters. These are plugins that I downloaded. One of them is an equalizer. So if I'm going to open the interface for the equalizer, and let's see where it is, it should be right here. I'm going to bring it to the screen just so that you see what it looks like. So I have a plugin with an equalizer. Again, I'm not going to, actually I changed the equalizer even though it's still called equalizer. I'm using a gate. And what gate does is it allows me to decide at what level does it start taking input from the microphone, and below that level it wouldn't. So here I change it back to the equalizer, and this is what I'm using here as an equalizer. I have a reverb. I'm not 100% sure how exactly you pronounce this word, so I'm going to bring the reverb user interface so you will see this allows me to record with kind of an echo. And I have a dedicated NDI output that really puts only the audio out. So if I use NDI, I actually use the NDI output, the dedicated NDI output that only has audio, as opposed to using NDI with the camera as well. These are the filters that I have for the microphone, the Yeti microphone. I have the yoramsolomon.com logo down here, and here I have the logo scene. This is what will appear here. So again, the selection is not done in this main scene. The selection is actually done in the logo scene. So if I went to the logo scene there, this is where I select, but I bring it up here. And what you will notice is the logo scene is on the top. So this is the highest layer that I have. The left scene that I have the display window. So once again, if I went back to the window selection, I select the display window in a scene by itself and bring it to whatever scene I need. If you notice the previous scene that I used, I did not have any screen. I was not sharing any screen of my computer. Here is where I'm going to choose in the display window, I'm going to choose which scene. So if I went back to the display window, just to show you, this is where I have, I actually have 4. I forgot to mention an HDMI external. So I can actually plug another computer with HDMI port, with an HDMI to USB adapter, and bring it in, and this is where it would come in. So I didn't add that as a separate one. Maybe I would at some point. Back to this one, Yeti is here. One thing to notice, and one of the reasons why I'm using multiple scenes, is because or scenes under scenes, is because I want to be able to change things with every main scene that I have. And the only way to do that is going to be if I change things on the scene level and not at the source level. So you have the Yeti microphone here. Whatever I have set as filters for the Yeti microphone in a previous scene is still here. So all of the plugins and all of the filters and the properties, once they apply to a source, they apply to the source wherever that source is. And once again, I have that live on the top left that I can bring in and out, and I actually use it with one of the buttons that I'll show you when I show you the Stream Deck video, which would be the next one that I'll shoot. Right scene, really the same one as the left scene, except that I'm on the right side. Dual 2 is where I want to put myself next to the screen, so I'm not really blocking one of the screens like I did here. So what you see here is, remember that logo scene is the same, live, Yeti, Yoram Salmon, dual blue lined. So this is what gives me the ability to put the, if I just brought this, you will see that I actually have some kind of a background for it, but I'm not using it. The dual tech is the scene that has these two, and underneath it we have the display window selecting this, what goes in here. So this is the display window. The D3500 camera, you can see that I bring it here, but because it's below the display window, I don't spill over to the screen here. And finally, the camera background, even though you see that it's taking everything, it's actually just taking this part behind the camera. Screen only is pretty simple. All I have is the screen, I'm sorry, I skipped to side camera. Screen only is this one, only the display window. So whatever we chose in the display window, right now we chose screen number 1, which is the integrated laptop display, and the Yeti microphone. That's it. Make sure that you do bring the microphone to every scene you program, because if you switch scenes and you don't have a microphone, you don't have any input, what you will end up is not having any sound coming with you. Number 6 is a side camera. This is an external camera, and once again, it's that external HDMI to USB port. And I have one more. Again, I have the microphone, and I have one more. I have, this is now from Elgato. It used to be from a company called Kinoni, got acquired by Elgato, an app called EpoCam. In EpoCam, I'm going to open it on my phone. It's an app. And there you can see this. This is my my iPhone used as a camera. There are 2 ways to connect it. I can connect it with either Wi-Fi, which is how it's connected right now, or I can connect it with USB port, and therefore the phone would even be charging while I do that. I turned the app off. Laptop phone, I created an interesting scene that looks just like this. The reason you saw the blue rectangle was because I was hovering over this. So this is what it looks like. You notice that the same scene, remember that the live is actually a scene. No, actually it's not a scene, it's it's a source, but I can put it wherever I want in different scenes. I just can't apply different filters or different properties in the different scenes where it exists. Here's the microphone, the logo video. So I actually don't need this. I can just eliminate it because logos are being brought separately. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, because I actually did bring it separately. I did not bring any other logo. So for this scene, because I typically put the logos here, I did not bring I did not bring the logo at all. I can bring it in. It's not going to do any good right now because it is not programmed into Stream Deck to bring it into that screen, which into this scene, which is something that you're going to see when I shoot the next video and show you the setup that I have for Stream Deck. Once again, we have the laptop phone. Trying to remember. Oh, the laptop phone is actually this. The entire scene here that you see. On top of it or below it, we have the display window. So this would show here. Display in window. This is what shows up here. The D3500 shows up here. And the reason you see these below that is because what I have here, if this was the only thing you would see, I have a green screen. And therefore, if I put the laptop phone, I think if we're going to see filters, you're going to see that I actually have chroma key. I have chroma key, and if I eliminate it, you will see that this is the image that I really created. I created it with green screen. I put chroma key, it took out the green, and because it took out the green, these are transparent holes that allow the display window to show up here, and the D3500, the camera that I'm using here, to show in this side. Once again, the reason it doesn't spill over is because it's actually below. And finally, the camera background. And the camera background, all you see is just the blue here. If I chose any other background, for example, the wood, then you're going to see it there. This is scene number 7. I have one more that I call the newsroom. And the newsroom, I want to just point out, you may have noticed that the counting that you had here, the counting you had here comes from the camera. This is one of the drawbacks of the D35 or using the D3500 as a DSLR, as a webcam. If I had to choose it again, I would probably not choose the 3500. I would choose one of the Sony A6000, 64,000, one of those, 6400, one of those, because they don't have that timer. The Nikon D3500 has a timer that allows me to use it for 30 minutes in live mode before it turns off. Now, not that big a deal. I typically notice the counting, or what I do is I just half press the taking shot, the camera button. I just half press it. That's enough to restart the timer. I've seen a few hacks that would put a rubber around it so it's half pressed all the time. I don't like doing that. All it takes is every 20 minutes just to remember, touch it, and I'm still in business. Or worst thing that happens, it gets out of live mode. It's one button and I'm back in live mode. That's not going to make or break a presentation that I give. So newsroom, again, let's look from the bottom. Camera background, that's the blue that we see here. Display window, this is the display that I'm bringing in. You'll see that it's a little behind me. This is kind of the scene that you see on when you see the news. I'm going to change the background to this. Now it looks more like what you would see in the news. The camera, the live button, the Yoram Solomon. Let's see where it shows up. It shows up actually up here this time. The microphone, the internal. So this is the internal laptop camera. I put it here probably in one of my experiments, so I can bring that camera. But the quality of that camera, as you can see, is pretty low, so I never really use it. And finally, the logo scene right here is where you would get the logos. If I selected any of the logos, and I don't think that right now I have any logos selected. Let's see if I put the Nope, for some reason the logos do not show up here. So this is something that I'll probably need to fix. This is it. These are the 8 scenes that I have. As you can see, I have scenes underneath scenes. The reason for that is more actually related to Stream Deck, which you will see later, because when I want to change, I want to bring a logo the way to do, or change a screen or change a background, it's easier to do it in one place and then apply it differently to the different scenes, like in different locations. This is my entire OBS setup for Zoom. In the next video, as I said, I'm going to take you through what I do in Stream Deck that makes it so much easier. I will not survive. I don't know that I would not survive, but it would be a lot harder for me to do that without Stream Deck. Control this setup that I have over there at OBS. But the bottom line is the setup that I do have makes it very easy. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next video when I talk about Stream Deck for OBS over Zoom, my setup. I recorded this video for you based on what currently exists and what I know right now. But things change, new technology, new products, new software versions, new ideas that I get, some of them from viewers like you. If you want to be informed when I release new videos with new or updated content, subscribe to this channel and get notified when I release them. Oh, and you can also like this video. Also, check out my resources for speakers like you who want to do things yourself at thediyspeaker.com.